Hey, what's up everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome to another MXGP 3 career mode gameplay video, where today I'm going to keep playing on this little 125 KTM in the MX2 Championship, and we are headed to Teutschenthal in Germany. The only thing that I've really done differently since the last video was change my rider outfit, so the gear. I think I'm wearing AXO gear now. I have a Swami helmet, I believe, and Alpine Star boots, and 100% goggles, I think. And then I also went and looked through the bike, but I think I've updated everything. So it's a little bit underpowered compared to the MX2 bikes, but obviously you'd expect that since it's 125 cc's less. And the last time that I raced this 125, it actually went pretty good because I was able to win the second race that I competed on it. And this time I'm going to try to do the same thing, i.e. winning, for example. But it was really fun because it was such a challenge to try to beat these guys all on 250S while on a 125. And we're going to try to make it fun again this time around. So as you can see, getting pulled terrible on the start. We're in Germany. I think this may be the first time I've played this track in this game, and that's not a good start. I just crashed. But yeah, Germany. Don't believe it was part of the wildcard races in the championship like it was in MXGP 2. Oh, everybody just came to a sudden stop right there. Reminder to everybody watching this video, maybe for the first time I am playing on the hardest difficulty and on realistic physics. So these guys should be relatively tough to beat, although I do understand that some people that have gotten pretty good at this game say that the AI is unbelievably easy. That is not me yet. I'm not insanely good at this game yet. I'm pretty good, I would say, for only playing it a moderate amount of times, but I'm not really trying too hard to get like amazingly good at the game or anything like that. Just trying to play the game through the career mode basically is the only time I've played it, and then also that SMX Cup downloadable content gameplay. So every time I've been in a video playing this game, you guys have seen my progress through this game, and I don't think it's been that bad. I mean, you know, you guys could say whether it's good or bad, but I think it's decent. Right now it's not looking that great because I'm not making a ton of passes since that early crash, but I'm in 11th. It is really a challenge though on this 125 to actually make passes, because these guys can kind of out drag you down the straightaways. Like this one, I was able to get the line on Seaward there, but he did have a better run out of the corner. I did not expect that corner to be that tight. All right, up to 8th. So made some passes. That hill is pretty fun. That is definitely not that fast of a hill in real life. It's slowed down a lot more than that because you come up to the top of it and you have to like almost stop to scrub it. And pretty much I was just wide open and scrubbed over the top of it, which is cool, but it still is definitely not that fast in real life. Either way, now up to 5th, making passes. Oh, Petrov throwing it down the inside. I've seen a couple comments on some of the videos that I've done on this game, kind of complaining that it is the 2016 World Championship replica game, I guess. Like Jeffrey Herlings, for example, racing him in MX2, but obviously in real life, in the MXGP class this year, Herlings is, so yeah, that kind of sucks given the fact that like this game wasn't like they released it while the season was already going, so like they could have maybe made the necessary changes to update it, but I think that's just the product of the genre that we're in. Like if it was MLB or NBA 2K or FIFA even, like it's pretty easy for them to just kind of say like, all right, well, the physics are already where we want the game, and we're just graphically updating a couple things, so let's change all the riders and all that stuff around, but they're not, obviously, because they had to revamp the game with the Unreal 4 physics engine, or graphics engine, change some things about the physics, obviously, as well, so I'm not too miffed that it is like a 1-year-old game already, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, because, to be honest, there's not many, like, riders in this game that like shouldn't be in this game. Like Tonkov, for example, this guy that I'm about to pass here in second, isn't racing in MXGP anymore or MX2 or whatever. So that's like one guy that would be out in this year's version of the game. But I'm like, is that like really a huge deal? Like if it was something to the case where like Ken Roczen decided he was going to go back and race GPs, and in 2017 he was racing GPs again, and he wasn't in this game. I could see people kind of making a big deal because they think they're buying like the most up-to-date MXGP game, but then probably the most like star-studded MXGP rider on the circuit wouldn't even be in the game. And not to like knock off Tonkov or like someone like Arno Tonis who wasn't in this year's game, for example, but is racing MXGP this year. But like that definitely would create more of a fuss, I feel like, if you didn't have Roczen in the game versus those guys. So like I said, I don't think it's like a huge deal because for the most part, everybody who's in this game like should be in this game, and the fact that it's the 1-year-old rider version of the game isn't a big deal to me. It's going to take a little bit more creation of MX games for it to get to the point where we're getting games released of riders in their current situations, essentially. So, not a big deal to me. I am up in a second, but I just crashed. And now Tonkov got back by... Who the heck is winning this race, by the way? I'm getting my doors blown off by whoever that is. I'm going to try to get Tonkov back. Jumping across the start straight. Got one more corner to make the pass to get in a second. I don't know who's winning, but at least second would be nice. I just blew that corner. See if I can get him to the line, though. Just cut the corner tight. Oh, I hit a bump. Nope. Oh, Benoit Patrell with the win. Interesting. Hurling's nowhere near the front of the pack. Meanwhile, still running the red plate because I am the championship leader. I forgot how far out front I am, but I'm somewhere pretty far out front. Third place on the KTM 125. Not too bad. Patrell, Tonkov, myself, Jonas Hurlings, Petrov, Covington, yada yada yada. My abilities keep going up, and all signs point to the fact that the more your abilities go up in this game, the easier it is to do whatever that ability is. So like you having 80 ability in the rain or whatever actually means that like in the rain you will handle better and be able to play a little bit easier. Like I said, I haven't reached that point, so I can't tell you whether it's true or not. I just feel like I've generally progressed through the game, and the stats are going up because of that, but I'll tell you when I get to that point whether or not it's true. Alright, from the outside, another terrible start, but this time I did not crash in that first jump, so I'm going to try to make a couple passes 4 wide in this corner. Ooh, almost looped out. Everybody just like stops right there. What the heck is up with that? Like, come up over the hill and they're like, I could just launch it out on the start straight, but I'd rather just stop and slowly roll onto it instead. Alright, so coming across the line to... Will this complete lap 1? No. Alright. To start lap 1, I should say, I am in 10th. And that's a little bit better than I was last time. Oh, I think I just took Calvin Vlanderen down. My bad. I will say that, and I've probably said this in a couple other videos, that I do like that you can actually bar bang in this game. Probably more aggressively so than you should be allowed. Like, you can kind of just slam it in on people and there's not really any repercussion to that. Like, not that you should get, like, penalized, but you should at least... like get slowed down in some aspect, like hit the person, you lose all your momentum, whatever. In this game you can pretty much just bang off of people and there's not really any problem doing it. Yeah, sometimes like you get collected with the guy, and as you saw right there, like Vlanderen went down because I hit him, but most of the time in this game you can kind of just bounce off of people and it's no big deal, which is completely inverse to what the other game, MXGP 2, would do, which is like you'd barely lean on the guy and you'd end up going down and they just ride over you and never crash, which I personally hated more than this, because at least this one it's like you feel like you can actually kind of race with them and not have to be so worried about exactly where they're going to be going, like in the corners and stuff like that. So personal opinion, I guess, but I don't know, guess I could voice my opinion and maybe you guys can tell me your thoughts of whether you like actually being able to bar bang or not. I will at some point, very soon, I hope, actually play some online races on this game, maybe with some subscribers, do like an online stream one day of it or something, because I know a lot of subs to our channel do play this game. I personally played on the PC. I've had that question asked a couple times. Just got it on the PC because it came out in the USA like a month before the console version on the PC. So like it came out in Europe, and then on the same day I could get it in the USA on the PC. But then the console version took I think it was about a month, like almost maybe like 2-3 days shy of exactly a month for it to come out on the console version in the USA. So obviously I wanted to get the game like as soon as it came out and bought the PC version. So if you are planning on playing with me at any point, unfortunately I do not have the console version. I have the PC version. Don't know if that helps you or hurts you in the playing with Kellen possibility ranking. What does help is that I'm going to try to go win this race, catch Jeffrey Hurlings and Max Anstey, which looks a lot more like what the front of the field would look like. No offense to Benoit Paturel, but he is normally not the guy that wins races. At least in the 2016 season, he was not. So got around those guys. Let's see if I can check out for the win here. Maybe win a GP on this 125. If it starts becoming too easy, in my opinion at least, to win races on the 125, I might detune it, honestly. Like go back to a stock 125 or stock-ish 125. Or maybe to start, maybe I'll go back to like a stock 250F and see what that's like. Like buy a new, I started with a Kawasaki, I think. So maybe buy a, maybe like something off the wall, like a TM, and just ride it stock for a little bit and see how it is, like how challenging it is to face these guys. Because I don't really want to get it to the point where it's like I'm giving these guys head starts and trying to catch them, which is what I did in the career mode videos for MXGP2. Like that wasn't, it was fun, but it also wasn't, because like you didn't get to like race them, you just kind of got to pass them, go through the field and try to get to the front. So it's more like trying to get around obstacles than actually racing. So I'm trying to like slow the bike down enough to where it's actually hard and challenging to race these guys, because as you can pretty much see, those guys are right about the AI not being too challenging, because I'm on a 125 and they're on souped up 250s, and I'm still kind of laying waste to the field. That's cool. 3-1 on a 125. Probably going to win the GP unless Paturel, well, no, 3-1 wins pretty much no matter what. Well, unless Paturel finishes second. Goes 1-2. But 3-1, why not? Little GP win in Germany, see where I am at in the point standings. And I think there's, let's see, this would be episode 5, so there should be 11 rounds still to go after this. This would be round 9 maybe. I'll have to look at the calendar too. So Paturel was 6th, which means I won the GP, going 2-1. Second was Tonkov, going 2-4, or 3-1. I went 2, and then Tonkov went 2-4. Paturel went 1-6. And my championship lead is up to, what is that, 13 and 28. 13 and 28 is 50. No, that's not 51. That's 41. 41. So 41 points up on Paturel. Hurlings is another 4 points behind that. Credits, reputation, blah, blah, blah. Skills go up +1 on those 2 categories. Braking, or 3. Braking, throttle management, control. And on to the next GP, which is Pietramarata in Italy. That is the Arco di Trento track, which again I have not played in this game. But it was actually one of the tracks that they showed in the original gameplay footage of this, so I've seen it. If that helps at all, I don't really know. But we're going to see if it does help, whether the track knowledge matters. Most of these tracks I know pretty well anyway, since I'm kind of an avid-ish follower of the GP scene. So it's not like I'm going to this track completely blind. But definitely don't know what it plays like in this game on any level. Alright, so from the outside, got a 5th place start. Mainly because that first corner is a chicane, so the outside on the start turns into the inside in turn 2. And already up to 3rd. Hurlings, Paturel, myself, Zaragoza. And we're at Pietramarata in Italia. Alright, let's try my outside lines. Oh, Hurlings going outside. Interesting. Love that outside line though. In MXGP2 is bomb. And you just go in, lay it over. Pretty much can do the same in this game. Scrubbing down with Hurlings. What it is. Oh, got a little bogged down at the hill. Double, double, double. Try to race him to the corner. Wow, he went way wide and I got terrible drive, but somehow I still was able to get a better drive than him. I still stick by that. I like the way this game feels. I think as it's gotten more and more playtime from some people, I've seen less and less people enjoying it, but I still think that there's good and bad things really, but there's a lot of good things to be taken from this. Like, I just feel like it's fun to be able to pick up a game and play it easily. And this game, like, you can do some cool things. Like, the ruts are very lean over into and rail them-able, which is totally an adjective for a rut. But I mean, like, some games don't have that ability still. Like, I feel like when I play the MXGP ATV series, the ruts that are made don't really like hold you. They just are more of like a this exists as a faster line kind of thing. Like, you can take it and it works somewhat as a rut, but not so much. Like, the rut line still breaks away, whereas in this game I feel like the ruts actually develop and there's like holes and divots you can kind of lean into and use for power. And then obviously the air physics are kind of janky on this game still. Like, they haven't completely perfected you know, the different kind of whips and scrubs that you can do, which is seemingly a big selling point for a lot of game fans. But just in general, I feel like you should be able to have a little bit more control over the bike in air. And you do have a lot more like freedom with the bike than you had in MXGP 1 and MXGP 2, which was basically just like a automated scrub that you pressed a button and it just did it. Whereas this one, you actually have to like control the joysticks and all that business. But I still think that they're off the mark for the most part. There's a lot of people that I see on some of these videos, pretty much just because we are a very heavily MX Simulator favored channel, if that's what you want to call us, saying I wish that they would make this like game with sim physics. And I just like wish I could get it through to people how flat on its face this game would fall if it was made with sim physics, because of how unbelievably hard it is to play MX Simulator. Like, there'd just be way too many people that'd give it terrible reviews because they'd pick it up, play it for 5 minutes, fall over 13 times, and say this game is the trash of all trash, and never really give it like a good fighting chance. Like, I think it's a good thing that PC gaming is still kind of like, they are like the simulator console. Like, you have iRacing, which isn't a perfect sim in my opinion, but it's good. And then they have like, you know, flight simulator, train simulator, all these other like little quirky simulators. And they work really well, and they're like good for actual simulation of whatever, like whatever type of genre that they go after. But like console games, I feel like should always be more of like a let's have a fun with this game, instead of make a game that is 100% realistic and perfect. So I don't know, like that's just where I stand. I know a lot of people that play consoles wish that something like MX Simulator would exist on a console so that they didn't have to buy a god computer to play it, which I understand, because I don't really like that I had to buy a really nice computer to be able to run MX Simulator half as good as a lot of other people can. But you know, I think that PC gaming has its own niche and console gaming has its own niche, and they should kind of stick to that for the most part. Because if you have simulation games on the console, there's gonna need to be a lot of like different extensions that go with it too. Like, there are really good racing wheels that work with consoles, but you can make a lot better racing wheels for iRacing, for Dirt Rally, for whatever simulation car racing game you can think of for your computer, because you have better control over the buttons and the inputs than on consoles. But that's just like my 2 cents about that. I mean, you could fight all day for the right to have something like MX Simulator be on a console, or iRacing be on a console, or something like that, just because it makes it easier to access. Like, you can just buy a game and it's there, instead of having to try to like go through all this stuff of downloading it on the PC and getting all the right things for it. Oh, I started in second gear for the first time ever and got a horrible start. But yeah, I mean, yes, I'm playing this game on PC, but I still think that this is like what I would consider a console game. Like, it's got like kind of arcade-ish values to it where you should be able to just pick it up and have fun playing it. It should be really fun to get online and play with friends. I'm not saying that the simulation games can't accomplish that, but it's a lot more of like you have to be kind of a computer techie, want to spend hours a day playing on a computer type of person to do that. Whereas I think a majority of the people that would play this game are like the type of people that are like, yeah, this is fun and that's cool, and like I'll race my buddies on this every now and then. But in reality, like, let's get outside and ride our bicycles on dirt jumps, or actually go load up the bike and race some real life moto instead of playing a video game. So there's different strokes for different folks, that's for sure. Some people like 2 strokes, some people like 4 strokes, and literally there are different strokes for those different folks. I, however, could kind of care less. I liked my 250Fs, I like my 450, I like my current 252 stroke. Never have I actually owned a 125, but I've ridden them. And I think they're all pretty fun bikes to ride. If I had to pick one, I don't know. Don't know what I would pick. I think I'll stick with what I got right now. But that's just kind of pointing out that I'm in the middle ground with a lot of stuff. I like simulation games. I like arcade type games. Hell, I like a lot of different types of games too. And as long as it's fun and it has a playability factor to it, then I'm probably going to be playing it at some point. So to those people that like to crap on this game, you know, offer your constructive feedback, like why. Like, if you don't like something about this game, like, explain why they should change it. And then, like, I think I could probably provide a pretty good rebuttal to why something is the way it is. And not everything is going to be perfect in these games, and not everything should be perfect either, but like, there's always going to be subtle improvements, subtle things that you don't like, but there's probably a reason for it being like that. Like, for example, the reason why it's always been so hard to make track deformation work in games like these, Reflex, any MX vs. ATV game after Reflex, and then all the MXGP series, is because usually games have a tough time making solid ground pieces off of, like, on top of each other. Like, MX Simulator has this problem where you can't have the same texture object, like, on top of itself. Like, I made the half-pipe video in MX Simulator, but that was a, let me try to think of how I can put this. If the ramp is vertical 90 degrees, it's really like an 89.7 degree ramp, and not perfectly 90, because you can't have 2 points of terrain right on top of each other. Just like I would assume is the case in this game. Like, you're moving terrain out of the way to make room for terrain underneath, but the ruts won't hook you very well because you can't get into a rut like it actually exists in real life, which is usually kind of like a hole in the ground that's underneath another piece of track. Like, for anybody that has ever ridden real life dirt bikes, you pretty much know what I'm talking about, where like a rut is almost like a cave, if that's what you want to call it, where it's like divoted into the ground, and technically there is dirt on top of the rut. So, like, that's really hard to accomplish in games, because usually it creates some sort of like terrain problem where the terrain won't hold you because of that. So, like, that's what I mean, is like, people want to say like, well, why don't they make ruts that fold over on top of each other and hold you better? But usually there's a good excuse for why that can't happen, and that's pretty much it, is that they can't make terrains that do that very easily. I'm sure that there's some way that they're going to figure out eventually, but right now it's like not super doable. And that's just like one of the many things in this game you could pick out and be like, well, why is it that you aren't able to do this, or why is it that X is this way but Y is that way, or whatever. And that's why I like you guys commenting on these videos and telling me like what you don't like, instead of just saying this game blows chunks, saying I don't like the 125 sounds or whatever. At which point I'd say it's pretty hard to make a logarithmic engine tone that accounts for engine load and suspension and different gear ratios and all that stuff like that. Like, it's not the easiest thing to do. So that's just a couple things racing through my mind about this game right now. I mean, we are 5 episodes into the career mode, and I'm still leading the championship. I'm still getting better at the game, and I still think that there are things that I'm learning about the game that I'm going to try to point out as I go on. But standpoint right now, I like it still. It's still pretty fun to play. And I hope you guys at least enjoy watching the videos. And if you don't like playing it, or maybe you do like playing it, maybe go play it after this video and try to find out some of the things that I was talking about, and maybe if that's good or bad or what have you. But that's going to do it for another episode of Career Mode in MXGP 3. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, the whole usual business. And hope to see you guys in our future videos. But Kellen here on Start Your Systems is checking out for now. We'll see you guys in the next one.